Okay, welcome to the Student Dentrix Update Training for the Arizona School of Dentistry and Oral Health. Purpose of this training is on the upgrade from Dentrix 4.0 to Dentrix 5.0. We wanted to design a little tutorial for what changes affect students and what the new process or protocol for how they do charting, clinical notes, and treatment planning will be. So this introduction video will have a couple shortcuts or just some updates to inform students about, and then it will go over clinical notes, how that has changed, and how you'll be doing clinical notes in Dentrix 5.0, as well as treatment planning, including how to order a treatment plan now and creating alternate treatment plans. So we're going to start by just showing a couple of shortcuts. These things have existed in Dentrix 4.0, but they're now being utilized at the school. Shortcut buttons here have been different on each computer, and they haven't really been the right codes, so that has been updated to be our most used procedures as well as be the right codes, so feel free to use those in your treatment planning going forward. These procedure buttons in the past, this is a good example, have not been updated. The appropriate codes that we use day to day have not been in these shortcut buttons, so we've gone to procedures and looked through an exhaustive list of procedures to try to pick the right ones per tooth. So those will be updated. Our most commonly used procedures will be in those shortcut buttons. Thirdly, another thing to facilitate or make things easier, multicodes will be updated. So when you have a tooth that you click on and you are doing implant procedures on it, you don't have to click on this implant services 6 times and drag over 6 different codes. There will be a shortcut that talks about, and it'll just, when you click on the multi-code for an implant in that tooth and hit OK in treatment plan, then it will automatically populate those 6 codes for that single tooth. This will save a lot of time and just make things run better. The other thing that we wanted to show in this introductory video is what has changed in the chart. The colors here, those will be consistent throughout the clinic. We've had different colors on different computers, and different colors have meant different things. So really quickly, red is still treatment planning. That's been kind of consistent. Black is conditions. Green is existing work that has been done at another location. And blue is work that has been completed at our clinic. These colors stack, and what's meant by that is if you have all 4 different colors on one tooth, let's say this occlusal fill had an existing when they came in, then we said it had decay, so we put the condition on it. So the green was existing occlusal fill. It had a black occlusal mark made for the condition, so we treatment planned an occlusal fill, which was red, and then we went and completed it and it turned blue. If all 4 of them are there, there's an order in which they stack the colors. The bottom in the order is green, then blue stacks on top of that, then red on top of that, and conditions is the top layer. The reason we inform you of this, I'll show as an example on tooth number 4 here. If I went over and clicked caries as a condition and said it just had an occlusal caries now, I add that and treatment plan it, you'll see that the restoration that was planned is covered. So if I opened up this view and I'm looking at the treatment plan, I think, oh, they just have these crowns treatment planned, 1 occlusal fill. So conditions can kind of hide treatment, and they wanted just to emphasize that you can unclick conditions and click it back on to see that layer. So be aware that conditions can cover up treatment planned items, and in addition to that, treatment planned items can cover up existing work that may have been there in the past. Like when I uncover this treatment plan, you see there's actually a fill on 11, and there's a condition there as well. But when we put the crown on, all you see is the condition in the red. So just something to be aware of going forward and to know the order and kind of know the ins and outs. An improvement in Dentrix, they now correspond the colors of the notes down here to what the procedure is up above. So if it's treatment planned, it's also written in red. Here's a shortcut for you to be able to see more. Let's say I wanted to see that I put that condition on number 4. Sometimes I'm scrolling through here and it's just difficult to find as I scroll through. So there I found the condition and the restoration, but if you want a bigger view, this is just a shortcut to see the view of everything, and I see, oh, here's tooth number 4. This is organized by date. Wanted to show a shortcut for if you want to see things a little bit easier. This brings back the work chart. If I wanted to know, so here I want to know the story of tooth 31, but all I see down here is crown lengthening was done at some point, and that was a long time ago, 1022. So I go look, and it's kind of disorderly. 31's written about again here, 1023 it was seen. But I just want to know the history of that tooth. I click on that tooth, click View, View by Selected Teeth. Now I get the whole story of tooth 31. Just 1022 and 1023, there were updates and changes. But it's kind of nice if you're trying to get a story or a background. Sorry, clicked away there. You need to go uncheck that as well. Oops, clicked the wrong one. You need to uncheck that as well after you've done that function to get all of your teeth back down here. Okay, one or two other little shortcuts. This might help when you go through and you do your exam with your patient and you have charted on a paper or whatever it is, conditions, existing work, and things you want a treatment plan. When you're going through and updating the chart to put all of that in, something that can make a nice shortcut, if I click on if I click on this plus button, it holds down the treatment button. So if I'm putting in existing work, I could click on the existing, it holds that down, or completed work I could do, or if I just want to go through and treatment plan. So let's say I'm treatment planning 4 occlusal fills. I can click on all 4 of those teeth, or I can still just do it one at a time, but all it does is hold this button down. So let's say 2 has an occlusal composite I'm going to do. The second I hit OK here, it's going to treatment plan it. I don't have to go down and hit that treatment plan button every time. So this is nice if you're going through and just putting in a bunch of treatment real quick, because it's holding down the treatment plan button, so I'm just updating it really fast. You can see how quickly you could start to put restorations in without having to go click treatment plan each time. And you can do it for existing other as well, if you're going through and putting in the existing work. I thought that was a nice shortcut that I haven't utilized too much. It's nothing new, but something new that the trainer showed. The last thing I want to show real quickly, this is a big change for the front office staff, but it's just important that students know. They are scanning our documents in somewhere else so that it doesn't slow down so much. They're not going to put it in the same imaging area. They're going to be putting the documents in something called the document center. Click on that for this test patient. This test patient doesn't have anything in, but this is how it will usually go. This is just an example from the test patient, but you'll have different categories here. This one says patient treatment. Sometimes there is a patient health history. There can be consents. They have different categories that they scan into. But the nice thing is when you open this document center, you can see all your documents listed here. And it really is a separate thing from radiographs, so it's nice that it's in a different location now. So all your scanned documents will be in this Dentrix document center. Again, the shortcut is this brown file cabinet. The office journal is also a change for the front office. Instead of them putting a clinical note in every single time that they talk to a patient on the phone, they'll be updating the office journal. Purpose for this is clinical notes are not intended to be cluttered by correspondence of front office with patients. That's something that goes in something like an office journal. So what they would do, you may need to know how to do this if you make phone calls with your patient and it's not a clinical discussion, like called patient wanted to reschedule an appointment, or called patient, they asked that we call back to schedule in 2 months or something. You put that note in here, it's not really a clinical note anymore. So the provider and staff here does default to whoever's logged in, and you put spoke with patient. Make it a detailed note, but call back next month. Okay, and you'll see now that you have 2 of those. The nice thing about the office journal, it shows every visit as well. So you could come in here and you could see if this patient had completed work that was listed. You would see, oh, they also had a fill this day, this, and all the different procedures that they've had. You can also see their upcoming appointments. So it's a nice place to go in and see things. And really, you shouldn't be clicking through clinical notes to see that somebody spoke with your patient or your patient called in. That's an office journal item. Okay, those were just a few shortcuts that we're showing. We're now going to move into the kind of the grittier things that do affect students as changes within clinical notes and treatment planning.